So we are not done yet for this week. We still have many things planning for during the weekend. First of all, we're gonna have a AMA with Apeiron, and another activity that we're hosting in Carv community is to distribute the Genopads invite code. So if you are interested in that, you can join our community. Oh, I see the Apeiron officials coming. Hello, Frank.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay.
Clear and crisp. And thank you to join today's AMA and finally talk with you. I think Claire and Chloe are planning to join later on, but hopefully we can have a conversation for four of us.
Wonderful.
Nice. So the sounds are clear for you from your side.
Yeah, everything's great.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So shall we let's start it?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so hello everyone for joining today's AMA with or AMA with Apeiron. A great project that we're gonna host it. A game that defining the new category for Web3 games for sure. It's a God game mode, God game genres. It's a game that mostly highly participated and have been raising over $20 million from global investors in both Web3 and Web2. And also the name of the Apeiron is a Greek word meaning that unlimited, boundless, infinite, and indefinite. So a beautiful design game. If you've watched them on YouTube and follow them on Twitter, you will notice that they are creating these cute little chubby creatures. I think the name was known as the dudes, right? Or dudes.
Dude, yes.
Dudes, yeah. So it's a really fun game and quite interesting game. And with me today, our co-host is the co-founder from Apeiron, Frank. So everyone gives them a round of applause. Okay, yeah. So thank you, Frank, to joining. And so again, for today's AMA, there will be two sections. The first one gonna be a conversation with me. My name is Charles, the community lead of the Carv, with the conversation with the co-founder of the Apeiron, Frank. And later on, there will be a live question from our audiences, and Frank can answer them. So feel free to join, to tune in our AMA and to stay. And today's AMA will also be snapshot, and so your participants will be snapshotted, and also you'll be able to carve the collaboration badge between Apeiron and the Carv. So without further ado, let's invite Frank. And hi, Frank. Do you mind to have a self introduction of yourself to our community?
Oh, a pleasure. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah.
Been hearing about Carv and talking to Carv for so long, and finally get to meet them and meet everyone. My name's Frank. I'm the co-founder and lore keeper of Apeiron and Funimagus. And a quick intro. We started this project 6 years ago, and I only entered the gaming industry 6 years ago. I was a private equity investor and management consultant before that, but I chose the game industry because I've been playing games all my life. Ever since I was young, I played all the Super Nintendo games, everything from Chrono Trigger to Talking Back in Memorial, and even then I moved on to PC games, all Blizzard games, Westwood games, Electronic Arts games, and then I began working. So yep, didn't play too much online games then, but moved on to mobile and watched the mobile business boom and really wanted to try my hand. So, it took 6 years. Really underestimated game development, and but here we are, and from mobile to blockchain now. Finally, the Apeiron is actually the passion project that started it all. I scribbled Apeiron in a notebook 7 years ago.
Wow.
And now I see it almost out now. So very exciting times, and happy to meet you all, and hopefully you will all like Apeiron as much as I do.
For sure. I like the design, and I love the game design and also the graphics. All the things are together creating this great like universe. I guess that's the proper way to say it. So why it takes you like more than 6 years to develop the game? I think as the developer side, like we haven't heard from the developer perspective, like why does it take so long to develop the game? Like, can you like entangle that? What do you guys been working on that? Yeah,
I'll talk about the story. I can talk about the story for 3 hours. But
yeah.
But why did it take 6 years? Well, first, I approached everything like a gamer, much like you guys are approaching GameFi or game industry now, being investors, most of you guys yourselves, because you guys have been invested in a lot of NFTs, Metaverse, a lot of related tokens or NFTs, and originally I thought, hey, come on, couple million to 1 or 2 years, that should be enough to develop a game. Well, to be honest, if it's a game that you copy off of someone with an existing model, just redoing the artwork, maybe do your own little story, yeah, maybe that's doable with a new team, that is. But we didn't want that in the beginning. We wanted to try something new. Going for something unique is a must. When I founded the company, if I just wanted to create a game, I wouldn't start my own company. I'll just invest in a company and invest in a game project. But we wanted to find our own team, and we wanted to try it our way. So this is tough because going for new gameplay mechanisms and unique designs is actually very risky. It's hard to find teams, and the development time and costs and risks actually quadruple. And I learned this a really hard way. I built prototypes for almost 3 years, trying to prototype designs, even the story, the designs, the artwork, all went through prototypes. I have to scrap a lot of designs, but now, it takes time. So we found a model with which we're comfortable with. That's the God Game and the Battle you see now on YouTube. Those are actually gameplay trailers. Those are not cinematic trailers.
Yeah.
So that is actually what you will play, and we're pretty. And we evolved the brand and the project to a really great scope. And then it suddenly looked like the mobile model, which we originally were developing for, was actually very restricting, and free to play is great monetization, but great monetization does not entail great branding or longevity. So we were struggling to find the right balance, and came along blockchain. It was we took our dip into blockchain for quite some time, and we settled that yes, this is something that Apeiron can really shine on, and can fully cope with the grand scope and mechanics that Apeiron entails. And so we didn't just pivot into blockchain. We redesigned everything. We came up with new elements. We extended the longevity of the game by many folds by introducing 2 very new mechanisms that is designed specifically for blockchain, and we come up with this giant of a project, Apeiron, you see right now, and then we went out. We went fundraising. We created a community, and we did a mint, and it was great. Well, we were lucky too. We started in December, and we raised most of the funding in April and May, and then the market crashed and everything. So it was really lucky there, and but still, to be honest, we still see the investors now. They're still interested, so it's happy, and that was really encouraging after all these years, because we have a team of over 30 people here who worked together with me on this project for over 6 years, and so it's very encouraging to finally get some recognition. in terms of the product, and finally we're here, and we're very excited to finally showcase the work with the coming demo in a month's time, and so yeah, it's well, just to summarize this, well, game development is a really crazy industry. It's if you want to create something new and something good, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of great talent.
Yeah,
and a lot of resources. Bootstrapped most of it myself for the past 6 years. So yeah, well, quite an experience.
Yeah, quite a great story. Also, 30 people working on the prototypes for the many years, and then I think you guys, the Apeiron, also like very. It's a great fit for blockchain, right? Like the NFTs, the gamers ownerships, and talking about the gamers ownership, you are the god of the game, or you are the god of your universe. So it's more important for the player to own their assets, right? Like that's just totally makes sense. Yeah, so I'm super happy you guys have been recognized and also be well founded, and the game design itself is totally different from what I have been seeing before. But I guess you guys have a great inspiration from previous projects, like, or from other great projects before. Like, can I ask about that? Like, where do you have these ideas from? Like, where does the inspiration comes from?
Well, the very beginning, the inspiration comes from Black and White and Populous, the two. It's developed by the same team, by Peter Molyneux and the Bullfrog and Lionhead Studios that later went into EA. They are the ones. Peter Molyneux was the one that came up with the first God game genre, and it's one of the games that I really like. I like a lot of games, but Black and White and God games is well. Well, it's the genre that out of the many games that I like that I can't find nowadays. I mean, I love RPG, I love shooters, I love real-time strategy, but you see a lot of great works like these nowadays. But God game is very non-existent. And when we founded the company, we want, and because we originally targeted the mobile markets and the Web2 industry, so we really wanted to find something that's unique out there. So we settled with God game, and pretty quickly, actually. It didn't take a lot of struggle or research to fixate on this, and then we went in. But of course, I was way in over my head, because God games actually is not just one genre. God game is actually a mix of real-time strategy, simulation, artificial life, and role-playing. So it's actually multiple games in one. So yeah, it takes a long time to develop, but we stick through, because we believe. I mean. How else can a company survive or thrive? I can't create RPGs better than the AAAs. I can't create RTS shooters or any game. I'm sitting right in Hong Kong. It's right next to China. It's right next to Japan, Taiwan. Singapore is rising up. Korea is rising up extremely quickly. And there's no way to compete if I don't find something truly unique. So God game was naturally where it was at. But anyway, I digress again. So back to the games that inspired. Well, the original God games, Populous, Black and White, Spore. Yeah. But if you play the game, you'll see a lot of other God games in the middle came to rise. We take a little bit from everyone. From Dust is actually one that's a really good try. The graviton ball that they have, you'll see it in some form in our game. And then we draw from many other inspirations. I mean, being in Hong Kong, most developers and artists actually grew up watching Japanese anime. So from the design, from everything, I am very influenced by the States and the Western games. But the developers, well, like I said, I wasn't in game development. I was actually a gamer. But the developers that I partner with, the 29 people that have over 10 years of game development experience, all are very accustomed to the Japanese game design structure. They grew up playing PlayStation and Nintendo. They are more accustomed with those designs. So you see this merge between those game designs from classic Japanese games with the world building and the concept of an English game. I mean the Western games from our side. So you'll definitely see a bit of everything if you just look into our trailers. And you play games long enough, then you'll recognize bits and pieces everywhere from many great games. Smash Brothers is one of my favorites. You'll definitely recognize that. And if you play Smash Brothers in my battle trailer, there's also a little bit of everything. And it's hidden here and there like Easter eggs, but you'll see more. But we really try to go for a really unique product here, unique not just to Web3 but Web2. So we draw in on a lot of these games, especially games that are that lasts. Actually, there's the roguelike elements, there's the breeding elements. So the breeding element was drawn from well, it's half XC and half from the Mahalo. I don't know how to say that. There's a Japanese game that breeds horse, but the horses are actually females. I don't even know how to explain it in English, but it's actually a really popular series. I only know the Chinese name of it. So there's a lot in these, and then there's roguelike elements. We borrow from Dungeon Maker, a very interesting mobile game. We look into the mobile model because we plan to develop for the mobile model. So the demo, although the demo initially will be on PC, but it is all the UI and UX you see is designed for the mobile, and then we will launch together on the mobile platform. So that's that, and
So the game are supported. So the game will be supported for desktop and also for mobile game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the core is designed to be mobile. So yep.
Yeah, nice. I can definitely see that. Like when you're explaining that the game element, the game graphics are coming from some inspirations from like the Spawn, from Black and White, and those popular God game. Those games are paved the way for golf game genres. Like I think they're combining the simulation and action RPG genres together. So I think Apeiron, from your trailer, I think definitely shows that, and even I think push the path forward for sure. And also the game design, the graphics definitely reminds me a lot of from Nintendo and from Smash Brothers for sure. Cute and also quite animated and also quite joyful to see it. So I quite like that game design. My next question is very simple. Is how to become a good god. I think the reason being is that after watching your game trailer, I can see that those chubby little creatures are kind of like my citizens. I need to take care of them, and I think that's something quite interesting. But I throw this question to you: how to become a good god, and you can elaborate on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, glad you're a good god because I tend to prefer to talk to people who like to play good, at least in their first playthrough. We borrowed this from a lot of the original Black and White have good and evil elements. A lot of great games like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Witcher have their own good and evil elements. In Apeiron, you'll be taking care of these dudes because to play the game, you need one planet NFT. One planet NFT has the planet and the avatar. And the dudes populate the planet. You'll see them everywhere, and they'll sometimes pray to you, and they sometimes will just walk around, have their needs. To be a good god, well, it follows the same game design as the original Black and White. As long as you don't hurt them, don't injure them, you'll be good. So cast rain, grow food for them. You can rub them a little bit. Or you can just answer the prayers that they typically ask for, and you'll be a good god. But same design with Black and White, you can also treat them like crap. You can throw fireballs at them every day. You can just slap them around also. And they will still worship you and believe in you. And provided they have enough food, they will multiply and everything. And you will still gain power. Ultimately, to be a powerful god, you need more followers. You'll be converting a lot of them. You'll be fighting across the universe to get more of them. But how you treat them is entirely up to you. There'll always be a choice between good and evil. And when presented with certain quests, it's up to you how you answer them. Be creative. But of course, the fundamental goal is try not to hurt them. But a word of warning, the dudes, if you treat them nice all the time, they will be very, very entitled and become obese and absolutely naughty. And you can still continue to spoil them. You can definitely do that. But that may not be the ideal gameplay. But yes, there are many ways with which you can play the game. The extreme versions will always not necessarily end up the best. But if you want to stick with your alignment and unlock the best achievements on the good line, then yes, you will have to find your way to get them. But it's a great game to explore, and it's really simple. Just be nice to them, and you'll be a good god.
That explanation actually makes me smile a lot. You can be good, and you can also be evil as well. From your trailer, I see that if you play the god, you can actually electrify them through a thunderbolt, and then they will be electrified and also burned or something.
Yes.
That's quite satisfying. But to see those
are you sure you're a good god?
I'm not really. But I think if I'm playing the god, I will just throw in some disaster to humans and to see what they're gonna do. And but if you are a gamers and you have this power, then the game experience can be really fun. And also you mentioned that if you just treat them very well, they will be entitled and spoiled. I think it's just like human, right? Like we also do that. If we are living in a peaceful time and have enough food to eat, then we'll be entitled and we are doing something naughty as well. So that's quite interesting. Yeah. So I think that's a great way to think. Like those design elements, I think not from any previous game, right? I think it's from your philosophy of or your observation of human or something from that, right?
No, don't put words in my mouth. I don't want to say people are entitled. But. No, it's just it's mostly for fun. The entire game, even the community now, the design is actually meant for just absolutely harmless fun. It can be good or evil. It's up to you. They'll be cute. There'll be things that you find a little mature, but it's all in good fun and good spirit. And yes, there'll be challenges. The against player elements. It's not just all cute. I think any good pet simulation game or artificial life game entails some sort of against player elements. And no matter how you play, if you treat them really good, they'll be spoiled. They won't respond. They'll just. Their faith will not increase even no matter how good you treat them, and they'll just sit there and wait for you to give them food with absolutely ungrateful reactions. But if you treat them evil all the time, they'll become fidgety and crazy, and that's a little. And then sometimes they don't respond to pain anymore, or they become they enjoy it, and so it can really deviate from there, but. There's a lot for people to explore. The god game part is very cute. It's very fun. It also can be very casual. The controls are very simple. It's just 4 elements, and you can explore how to interact with the environment and the dudes. But there's a lot of depth in there, and it takes a lot of different types of playthrough. You can be a grinder. You can just find ways to grow your civilization to maximize the amount of souls you can harvest with each Armageddon and each reset, or you can just continue to play and do not harvest the souls, and eventually they may build you a great pyramid or a great wonder, and those are actually powerful equipment for your avatar and your planets, and you can sell them or mint them, or you can mint them to NFTs and sell them, or you can keep them for yourselves, and these relics will stay throughout the resets. And so there's many different ways you can treat Apeiron like a farm game, you can treat Apeiron like a grinding game, or you can treat Apeiron like a highly competitive esports games where you compete on the esports side of things, or you can just dwell into the endless dungeons and treat it like a roguelike, try to achieve the deepest levels. Each type of playthrough and each type of gaming style entitles you to a different token or a different NFT, and so it's all different. Every player will find their own unique place here, and ultimately, when you level up, when you play to the end game, you can stay with your own game style, and it doesn't really demand much unless you go super competitive, and you can just come back here to enjoy the alliance events. And the dudes, and just off you go to play other games or grind elsewhere.
Yeah, I like the philosophy of the game design. Like you provide the choice to the players. Like whatever they want, whatever the path they want to choose, they can find it in this universe. I like that idea, and also it's not the idea anymore. It's the great execution. I think that you guys need to put a lot of efforts to designing this freedom for players to choose, and from the end result, I think is brilliant. You mentioned about the elements in the game. Like you say, there's 4 elements in the game. Like I assume those elements are also related to the NFT, right? Like could you elaborate on that?
Yes, the 4 elements is the 4 classical elements from the Greek philosophies: air, earth, fire, and water. So from a gameplay perspective and from your NFT perspective, the entire world and your gameplay will revolve around these 4 elements. So starting from the NFTs, there's 2 main types of NFTs now. One are the planets, and the other are the stars. The stars is the land, I'll talk about later. But to play Apeiron, you really just need a planet, which is already available in both OpenSea and our own marketplace. And the planets... the main difference and the main characteristic of the planets are the mixture of the 4 elements. There are 15 base types based on these the combinations of these elements, and each different combination is a different world, a different set of gameplay elements and style. There's 15 planets. For the battle, there's 3 classes, so there's 45 base battle types and 15 core planets you can play on to experience Apeiron differently. The more powerful, the less elements, the more powerful it is. It's sort of like a bloodline purification. As I said, that was drawn from the horse breeding game, where the bloodline purification is the breeding goal. So the most normal planets are made up of all 4 elements. You mix and merge them, and through gameplay, you can adjust the distribution of the elements. It's rallied from a 100 percentile, so 25, 25, 25, 25 in the beginning for most of the normal planets, and then you can purify it down to 3, from 3 to 2, and from 2 to 1. Of course, the more pure the elements, the harder it is for you to manage them, but also the more powerful they are. But I always say it's not exactly like game unbalanced powerful. I always compare these elements like first-person shooters, because I'm a huge first-person shooter fan. So the pure elements are like nuke cannons. They're like rocket launchers, grenade launchers, very powerful, very easy to wield, great direct kills, but they may not be the best weapon of choice in the late arenas and games. They're still very formidable. The normal elements may be weak. They are like the pistols, but honestly, can pistols beat rocket launchers, grenade launchers? Yeah, given the right skill, given the right map, given the right reaction, yeah. And the better the weapon you go up, there's a lot of different weapons. There's 15 types of weapons. So I mean, it's up to the players and the skills. It will be difficult for the quads to beat the purists, but there is a chance. And also, so the different elements represent different gameplay styles and themes. And into the God Game Simulation game itself, the 4 elements is actually how you interact with the world. Like in the trailers, you see you use water, it casts rain. Rain will grow trees and food. You use air, it will cast a little hurricane, a gust of wind. It blows things around, it shuffles things around. It also, never talked about this before, but it also affects the climate of the world a little bit. And then Earth actually is from dust. It's a graviton ball where you pressurize sand and rocks, and fire is because fire. So with these 4 elements, you can change and shape different types of environments. You can grow a tree. You can burn the tree down. It becomes a field, a fertile field. You cast rain directly on it. It becomes it grows crops. From that, you can cast wind. It spreads the seeds. So there are many ways with which you can interact with the world and play. It's entirely up to the players to experiment. And onto the battle side, the 4 elements are still here. Each element has their own unique play styles according to the 3 classes. A lot of different combinations for this core deck. The heart of the game, of the battle, is sort of like a deck building game. It's actually a card-based battle, and your main deck is your planet, your avatar, which will be which is determined by how, and half of it is determined by the genes, the traits, and the other half is by how you play the God Game Simulation part. And then you mix and merge your main deck with 4 apostles. Apostles are pets you take along in combat. You can get them in game. You can meet them in the dungeons. You mix and merge them, or you can buy some off OpenSea right now. We have a collection over there, and they are sort of like Pokemons. They have their own combat powers. The deeper into the dungeon you go, the more powerful they are. There's 12 classes of pets, and each pet has over 8 skills, and they can carry around 3. So you mix and merge, you find the right mix with your avatar, and then you formulate your own strategies to go into battle. Well, I know it's a nightmare, and it's a lot to chew via text and word, and you may think, oh my god, this game is extremely complex, and then you're already mind-boggled or wandering off. But the game itself, we've spent so much time to make it extremely intuitive. The design, the UX, the controls, and the tutorials will be very easy to digest, and there'll be story elements to get you through. So the tutorial is not a tutorial. You swim through the first few stages, and you get the game. And it's definitely not as complicated as we put it out on paper. So just wait till you try the game, and or if you really want to deep dive into the game, then yes, head to our community. We have a very vibrant and active community that is ready to answer any questions. It's a great place. They're very fun. Watch out for some not safe for work content. I'm hiding somewhere sometimes, but yeah, it's great fun.
Yeah. I can't, like, there's so many things that it's just inspired me as well. After you explaining the game elements, it's just so I'm a player. I like playing games as well. I love the game called the Legend of Zelda, and the game itself also similar to the elements that you introduce. It's basically like players learn from their life. They like those elements that like water, fire, thunder, those things that we experience. Those things, those physics in our real life, and then implement those tricks into the game. And players, when you're explaining those stuff, I think the players kind of overwhelmed by the information. But when you actually play the game, you will definitely find many it's very easy for you to understand the mechanics and also understand the physics in the game design. So I think that's how great games can be, right? There's something old that we learn from from our life, and also there's something new that you can experience. So a great combination for that, for sure. So everyone who, I think we are reaching 1,000 people in the AMA, and
is that even normal for you guys to have 1,000 listeners?
I don't know, but normally we are reaching 800 or 500. It depends on the project, but definitely Apeiron are quite popular for sure, and people love to listening to your projects for sure. So anyone, since we are reaching the peak of the AMA, so everyone who wants to learn more about the Apeiron and also want to know about their mechanics, to watch their gameplay, those trailers from Apeiron, please follow Apeiron on Twitter, and there's a links for their other social medias, and you can watch the gameplay, real gameplay, not trailer. It's a real gameplay, and you can see by yourself how amazing the game design is, how cute those dudes are. I like those dudes. So you can watch them on YouTube, to follow them on social medias. Please do that. So moving on to another question. So I kind of think I kind of think that the game itself needs to at least purchasing some NFT to begin the game. Am I right on that? What's the entry requirements for players to join your universe?
Well, to be honest, yes, you need one planet NFT to begin the game, but and we don't actually promote free to play like other games out there. We know free to play is one of the best gateways to onboard Web2 users, but we're trying to stay with a premium paid app model over our side. We do offer some free to play elements, but it's for gaming guilds and for players that rent their planets for others. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want to own your own planet and you just want to experience the game, you can apply to play as a scholar. Of course, the term scholar is very derogatory nowadays, so we try to package it into something else. It will be a portal. How are we going to do it? Oh, actually, sorry. I should cover the NFT side before going on to this, because this is usually what people ask next. But, so you need one planet NFT to play the game, and it's pretty expensive right now on OpenSea, but that's because most players who invested in these planets are breeding. We only minted around 4,000 planets in the beginning, and we plan to breed from 4,000 planets all the way down to 10,000, 20,000, and 100,000 as we go. But the breeding element we control pretty significantly. We, for example, if you look at the number of planets right now, it's only close to 5,000. We didn't exactly open up the floodgates yet. We control the floor price and the items because the market is just, really not very great right now. And we don't feel like lowering the floor price via lots of breeds. Right now, we want to make sure that the demo is out before we open back up the breeding, the mass breeding, and the elements, so that the early investors can have their assets protected at a fair price, which actually is working great now. And so we have that. Yeah. But ultimately, yes, to play the game, one planet, that's all you need, or be a scholar, you can rent it. And in the future, when we launch, because we'll incorporate initial free-to-play period, that's sort of like a tutorial, a pretty long tutorial, because actually there's a side detail is, in order to get listed or to get on the Google Play and iOS game store, you need at least 30 minutes to 40 minutes of gameplay, free, or that they can experience. So we're going to have that in the game to onboard new users. But beyond that, if you want to enter the deeper content and everything, there'll be a paywall. The paywall in the sense that you either need to own an NFT to continue, or you need to enter one of the scholar portals to be one of the gaming guild scholars, or to go to the rented planets marketplace to play for those other players. Of course, standard scholarship and rental applies over there, but that's entirely free to play.
Yeah.
And so yep, that's that side. We work with many gaming guilds very closely, and even now we do, because a lot of gaming guilds are restructuring, and I'm a very big fan of gaming guilds and gaming communities. So I always talk with the gaming guilds on how they plan to restructure, and we'll work together on the way to turn the Web3 gaming into a really great community, not just a bunch of grinders that people despise or is detrimental to the economy itself. So there's a lot of different things happening, but sorry, I always digress. So back to you. Yes, I should have just said yes. You need one planet NFT to play the game.
Yeah, but I like your elaborate on that. Like, so on the guild side, and I've also, for everyone who wants to experience the game, there's kind of a free play at the beginning, like 40 minutes gameplay that you can experience by yourself and decide whether you want to invest in the game or not. But I think the game itself is very satisfying, and also there's many elements in the game that you will love to exploring, right? Like, I think for the Web2 gamers, for sure, like if a good game itself, why shouldn't I pay for it? But for Web3 games, for Web3 gamers, there's a earning part for the game design as well. So I'd like to mention and also ask about the last question is about the tree token system that you guys implemented. I think there's a play to earn elements in the Web3 part of your game, and also wondering how do you design the system, and if I'm the player, what tokens should I care about, and why those tokens are there? Like, why do you design the tree token system? Yeah.
Okay, prepare for another long lecture and a boring one, but
No, really,
I'll try to be brief this one. So when we first looked into blockchain game, we studied a lot of Axie Infinity, and we find the two token model to be great, actually. Well, the way they use it was a little funny, but who am I to judge? But we built our model of Axie in the beginning with two tokens, with breeding, with resets, and with our God game. We found it to be, we found a lot of different ways to tweak and model it, and we get so very close to a model that we feel that is, this is a really good model. It could be sustainable. It could last a lot better than what we see now in crypto. But every time we monitor, or we simulate it out, it doesn't quite play out, especially when there's a huge turbulences in the market, or in the numbers, or massive influxes of players. And so we were quite stuck back then. So we took a look into many other games. We took into many economies and game economies, and we think actually, well, maybe a third token would help, because a lot of geometric shapes begin taking hold, and the best ones only take hold after 3. And so we looked to developing a third token, especially one that wraps up a lot of flaws we see in the existing crypto games, where there's a lack of high-level content, a lack of alliance and multiplayer dynamics, and a lack of late game purpose, which in a lot of games, existing games, is in the form of alliance gameplay, MMO gameplay. And so we designed this third token around this. So these 3 tokens, the first one, I'll just go through them, is APRS, our governance tokens. It's actually highly similar to AXS. The second token is Anima, similar to SLP in nature. It's a play-to-earn token, mostly used to incentivize single-player gameplay. But be warned, we don't exactly promote play-to-earn either. We think play-to-earn is great. It's a great marketing gimmick. It's a great SEO. It's a great ideology. But for any ecosystem and for any economy, the idea to just earn and earn and earn is it may not be very sustainable for the overall economy. So we try to limit the amount of tokens that a single player can earn. We'll still entice them with it, but ultimately we want to promote win to earned. We think we have a very heavy battle side with a lot of esports elements and tournaments and competitions. That's what you'll see in our community, and we think, well, in order for an economy to last, there must be winners and losers. But of course, the process has to be fun to watch and fun to play. So we'll do a lot of win to earned. And then the third element will be regularity, where the alliance gameplay comes. Players play in teams and alliances, and it would take a lot of effort, teamwork, skill, and time and dedication in order to mint this third token. The third token will be related with the world bosses, dungeon raids, battlegrounds, esports events, and that's how you mint the third token. It won't be easy. But with the third token, you unlock the best stuff, the best equipment, items. You can do a little esports gambling, and you can also unlock the best liquidity pools to earn. And so yeah, everything is tied with team play alliance. It's also our philosophy behind designing these three tokens and also the 4 NFTs. We think a lot of existing games promote a very simple game design and tokenomics, easy to understand. Well, it's not simple actually. It's just a single token. It's really easy to understand. People can get it. They know the sinks. They know the supply. But sometimes I always answer this whenever people ask me why don't we just do 1 or 2 tokens. Is that why put all the investors and gamers, DAOs, launchpads, gaming guilds, scholars, grinders, pro players, casual players into a single token or 1 or 2 asset classes? Wouldn't this further encourage people to dump? No matter how many sinks, how many gameplay utility you throw into them, everyone, as long as it's related with the economy and liquidity, the people would just dump it the moment they see the price. Gamer adoption or anything when the 90% of it is being traded in the markets. That just doesn't really make much sense to me. So I think we want to filter and separate different types of users into different types of asset classes with different gameplay mechanisms and different earning mechanisms. I mean, I'm not saying I have the answer, but at least I do think single and two currency actually may be possible to do it. It's just that it would be easier for us to design more currencies. This is actually a very classical game design question, because a lot of game design can actually, and games can be done with single or dual token currencies. But you see a lot of games have multiple assets, multiple items and currencies, because the more assets, the more currencies you have, the more items, NFTs you have, the more tools will be available for the game designers to play and tweak and filter different types of user engagements and activities in their game and to optimize them individually. With single or dual currency, it's great from the user perspective, but it also presents a harder and harder mechanic for the designers, for the programmers to actually design better economies. It is definitely possible, but no, not enough talent over here yet. But we'll definitely know how to do it with more tokens. So once again, our tokenomics is designed with variation, and we're trying to be flexible to adapt the different turbulences we may experience in the markets. And that's our tri-token economy. That's how we hope to do it. To go a little further would involve going into the seasonal cycles of gameplay, involving tournaments, decks, balancing, giant tournaments that unlock a bidding house for the newest galactic content. Not sure if we have the time to go here. If any audience will ask me that question, I'll go over there. But I would definitely want to continue with more questions first.
Nice. I think you guys have been thoroughly discuss about it in your team, and also the system itself, I think it makes a lot of sense when you explain to me. You emphasize on the win to earn element, and also emphasize on the esports part. I think the tokens, when the game developers design the tokens, they should think about like filtering different players. If you have like 1 to 2 tokens, it's definitely more vulnerable. Not necessarily, but from the current market, from the like previous projects, we will see that the 2 tokens system are more vulnerable to be dumped. And also, like as a control system, when you're designing the feedback loop, you will always have like 3 elements: input, output, and there's a feedback. So maybe like 3 tokens system will help to make the economic in the game much more sustainable. So I think we will love to see that in real time when we actually play the game, and how these different tokens represents, and how they interact with it. And hopefully some audience will ask that question as well. I like to hear that. But I mean, the last but not least, I think it's about the milestone for Apeiron. What's your planning for the future, and when can we actually play the game, and when we expect the game will be launching in App Store or Google Play?
Cool. So the milestones right now to hit in this quarter is actually a huge ton. First is actually our land sale next Tuesday. It's in 3 days, I believe. Yeah, and that's where we'll do a very limited land mint at a ridiculous price, well, according to current market standards. But we like to do that because we have a different approach and everything. And then after the land sale, we have the game demo. The demo will be the battle side of Apeiron. We'll battle test the Apeiron side, the battle side of Apeiron quite intensely. It's where the core balancing issues are, so definitely need player input over there. The God game we will hold tighter to our chest and release it when in one swing. So we'll do the battle testing throughout November and maybe early December, and then we'll launch our token together with the game, probably very close to each other, and that would be determined by a lot of market conditions. Nobody is practically optimistic about the current market, or even in November. Not a great idea to launch everything, but still we want to hit our milestones, and we want to keep the traction and also the experience out. So we'll definitely, if the markets are great somehow, I have no idea why it would be great in December, but if somehow things pick up back speed, we will go for a full launch with God game, with battle all the way. But if the markets are crappy and things don't look that great with GameFi and Metaverse and crypto traction going down the drain, still like now, then we'll probably still launch a limited launch that focuses on battle, balancing, and some tournaments and esports events, just so we can keep the data in. We can continue to onboard users slowly, which we absolutely don't mind, because that's actually where the bear markets are for, to try to attract core gamers and users that actually want to look into the game and test the game with us. And then once we have all the balancing and issues out and the markets are right, we will go for the full pack and full impact of the launch with the God game and everything, because the battle is unique, but it's not as unique as the God game. And we want the most unique element to go out at maximum capacity with full with the support of the market and of course much greater experience in handling tokenomics and blockchain and marketing, which is a lot. To be honest, a great blockchain game requires all 3: gameplay, tokenomics, and marketing to go effectively. And I'd say Apeiron has the best qualifications in terms of the gameplay, but for blockchain and marketing, these things actually came only last year, and the previous 6 was all gameplay. So we definitely knew in the blockchain department, marketing with the shift in digital acquisition, with the model shifting from user acquisition from social media ads to community building and KOLs. We're still learning, and we definitely need more experience and exposure here. Once we have everything ready and the market, and we have the best support from the market, we'll definitely go for a bigger launch next year. Hopefully, the markets will correct closer to the second half, to the Q2 of next year. That's, I think a lot of people are quite bearish on the entire year next year, but we'll see. We'll still keep we'll keep updating and keep hosting tournaments to keep some traction. We'll put updates, but we'll see when that's going to happen. But with our stick to the original roadmap, if everything is great, the launch will be in December. The first giant esports tournament will be in Q1. It will be a global esports tournament ending in Korea or Hong Kong, and with a physical tournament where the top players fly over here. We have an event, we'll have the finals, and then we'll push for the first expansion. The expansion is the Shinto Galactic expansion. The entire game map as a universe, and the first galaxy to open up will be the Japanese galaxy. It's not called Shinto, but it's a temp name. And then you'll be fighting the world boss, unlocking the content after the world boss is defeated to fight in the first map gameplay element, and finally get your hands on the third token. And it is then that throughout we'll be having other games. We'll have a physical gaming card extension to the game. We'll also be looking into animation and movies. We're already in talks with some Japanese anime studios, because with the trailers for the movie and the pilot for the animation series, we'll go for a bigger funding raise, an equity raise next year, to really push the brand to become an IP. It's all in the works all these years. It's a really grand dream that we had, starting from Web3, going to esports, going to physical gaming cards, going to merchandise, animation, movies, and more games built around this center ecosystem. So yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And but luckily we found equally crazy investors and partners along the road. We found partners. Most of our investors, half of them are from Web3, but the other half is Web2. So we've prepared people to start us off in Web3, but then we also have investors to get us into Web2. We have physical gaming card giants investing. We'll have publishers, game publishers, giant Web2 publishers investing. We'll have founders, managers from biggest streaming platforms around the world partnering with us, esports teams partnering with us. We'll have toy manufacturers investing and partnering with us. And so we have people every step along the way to hit these milestones, and hopefully with the game out, with better traction and with the right mentality to do a proper blockchain game that's not all about 30x or flips and everything. We'll go for a humble launch, go for a humble listing. We won't go for an IDO or IEO to hype everything up. We'll go for a much more humble approach, because I actually personally see floor price and token price more as a marketing tool than a fundraising tool. So we will go for a different approach, and then we will also try to limit the amount of entries and users to be more core game users instead of speculators and investors. And so we'll market make things slowly, create better traction and better trends to attract better people, and then we'll go for the full launch. But of course, this is all just strategic talk with no battle tested thing yet. So feel free to just take your time, play the demo first, look into what Apeiron is, look into our white paper, test it yourself. If you like it, if you enjoy it, then take part in the ecosystem however way you like. The entire community is always ready to answer questions. My DMs are always open. You'll always find me around, and just ask away. And hopefully we can be one of the games that's of a higher production value, one of the first few ones to come out and to shine a different light onto Web3 gaming, to show that there are quality games out there with really unique gameplay, story designs, and also tokenomics, and not tokenomics, but prices that's a little more fair, and people can experience it themselves. Talking about the planets, that is, the stars are absolutely ridiculously pricey because, well, they are very limited, and those are the land of Apeiron, which is very rare. So definitely something else there. If you would like to ask me that, would love to answer that. But yep, again, I am taking over the entire conversation, so I would leave some time for you, Charles.
Yeah, it's okay. I think you showed us that you are being like thoroughly thought through about the strategically steps for your project to grow, and there's tons of like collaborations and also tons of events that you're gonna host it. And I like the idea, love the idea of creating the animations based on your game, because as I can see, those dudes are really really cute, that there will be a like a big hit on the big screen for sure. And also like the tournaments, the battle, and you are also considering the market. I think that's something a founder should mention that, because you know, like for a project to grow, for a project to sustain, you need to consider many elements, and also ride safe for any market. I think that's a great showcasing of your leadership and also your capabilities to lead the team. Yeah, so I think we will talk about the game design, talk about the NFT system, talk about the token system, and the last thing that I need to mention, maybe you can be very quick to answer that, is about the mode. There's different game mode, right? Like how many game modes that you have been development, and also what we will see in like December when the game kind of launched. Yeah.
Well, first you'll definitely see the two core game modes. That's just the online, the planet simulation, and battle.
Yeah.
So these are the first two parts. If the markets are not great, we'll just release the battle part so people actually get to compete and play. The battle part consists of two, well, I'll say three modes. The first mode is the dungeons. It's PvE. You fight against AI-controlled enemies in the dungeons, different rooms. It's a roguelike structure. So there's stages and there's floors. You dive deeper, you get relics. I mean, you get items to buff up and to alter your play style. You'll fight bosses to earn, and you'll mix and merge apostles that you can combine and bring in combat. And then there'll be PvP. There'll be the arena, the ladders, where you compete against other players and you can earn tokens based on winnings and your standings. And finally, there'll be the esports side of events where all things will be held steady. It's pure skill based. There'll also be ladders and rankings over there, and players will be able to experience this side pretty much in full. Definitely in December. The card game element, if opened up, will sort of be the simulation side of aspects, where you can level up your core skills, your attributes, and then you'll be able to play on the duty quests on the planet. You'll be able to answer prayers. You grow and shape your planets, which will all reflect the growth of your avatar. So that's the two core mechanics. And then next year, towards Q2, will be the Alliance content, where actually players will band up on the game map and tackle game levels and other guilds on the game map.
Nice. Many game modes that's waiting for gamers to explore. So I think that's all the questions that I've been preparing with, but I think the community definitely have something to ask about it. And again, before we move on to the live questions from our audiences, first of all, today's AMA will be snapshot, and everyone who participates to today's AMA, you'll be able to carve the badge, which collaborated with Apeiron and Carv. You can go visit our website carv.io, and also to log in with your wallet, and you'll be able to carve the collaboration badge between us. And the second thing, that for anyone who asks a question during the AMA, there will be a reward for that. What's the reward, Frank? Is the star NFT? Star whitelist, sorry.
Yep, I believe it's either the star whitelist for the coming Tuesday mint, or you can get the Luna NFT, which is a critical piece of NFT that you need to have in order to access our demo in a month.
Yeah.
So it's one of these two. But stay tuned. I'm pretty sure my partnership with Carv will not end here, and we'll have a lot more rewards down the road.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. We hope we can collab with you, like in the achievement badge, or like in-depth like integrations, and hopefully we can all elaborate. We can all explore the gamers ownership part in the future, for sure. And since we are hosting like a great event together, maybe we will have like a tournament in Carv community as well. But enough said about that. Let's go on to the live question from our audiences, shall we? Cool. Let's start with who is the first? I think the Luby Fuyu is the first one. Let's give him a shot. Hello. He's connecting. Oh, or she. I don't know whether it's he or she. Waiting for the connection. Apparently not able to connect it. Okay. So while we're waiting for Luby Fuyu to connect it, everyone, please go follow the Apeiron on Twitter. There will be more to announce, like their tournaments, their game mode design, and also of course like the NFT sales as well. They have been showing a great value for during this bear market. So if you want to hold one NFT from Apeiron, please go follow them on Twitter. And if you want to participate to our community, our event, the games that we collaborate with many games that we collaborate, and there's many events, you can follow us on Twitter as well. Follow us on follow Carv, and also go visit our website as well. I think apparently he's not able to connect it. Let's move on to David, shall we? David? Okay. He's connecting now. Is it working? Okay, yeah, now we're talking. David, you can unmute yourself so you can ask a question. Yeah.
Yo, nice. What up, Charles? What up, Frank? So my question. Yeah, I'm doing good. Well, obviously, you guys are having a lot of fun, so don't need to ask. So about Apeiron. So, like, I've been following the game. Like, this probably would be the first ever game in Web3 I followed. So I've been following the news for a while now. Like, but the thing always bugs me is that I know you explained a little bit at the beginning about God games, but to me, like, it's just a really confusing idea of what is God game, like, because obviously I see Apeiron as something of strategic based, like a really heavy on strategies and have some mini games. So I just wondering, why would you brand your game like like saying it out loud, like putting that at the top priority as as a God game?
God Games is actually, well, thank you for your question, David, and thank you for following us since the beginning. But the God Game is actually, well, a lot of it is nostalgic value. If you look into the first Reddit posts, you search for God Game. If you search God Game on Google and you search Reddit, you'll see that people are asking questions like, why do we not see black and white anymore? Why are there no God Games anymore? And one of the best answers out there, actually, one of the most liked answers on Reddit for God Game is that it's from a God Game developer themselves. And they explain, God Games have been a nightmare to get across. If you talk to investors about God Games, they'll be absolutely lost. So they don't invest in it. The dynamics, the gameplay is both hard to get across and hard to develop. But so why? Why do I develop it? And why do I market it right in the beginning of our game? It's because gamers, as a gamer myself, this is actually the game I've longed for, and I miss it. And a lot of people miss it. And this is actually market proven. The moment we went out to publicize the game, finally, after all these years, the response we got from funding, from gamers, and from other developers is like, dude, this is black and white. And they miss it, and everyone misses it. From if you've ever played the God Games in the year 2000s before, it sticks. People love it. People like it. These are proven game designs and concepts and world building stuff that gamers do enjoy. But back then, in the year 2000, these developments is extremely difficult. Of course, with a lot of technology and game design, game technologies available right now, it's just a bit easier. And with the monetization tools available nowadays, mobile game payment gateways, blockchain fundraising, these are great tools and assets with which these games can get. Back then, there were great games, critically acclaimed, all with great reviews, but none of them made a lot of money because the cost to develop has been so great. But they won all the awards, they won all the reviews, they won all the users. And to this day, every gamer out there, if they've played Black and White or are active in the year 2000, they know this brand. That is how we raised 20 million in 5 months. And all of them are almost from that era. Game developers, game publishers who know about these genres and not just waiting to see one back. This is why I put God Games there, even though it's super hard to get across to explain without the gameplay itself. But that is also exactly why we ensure that on the game, in the game tutorials, upon gameplay, everything is a lot easier. It's 4 buttons and a world. You tap water, it becomes rain on the game map. And you tap fire, it burns, you experiment, and will be very intuitive, and it will be very easy to understand. And we'll make sure of that. And this is the advantage of NFT games and blockchain games, actually. Because games that you have to pay for, being a premium paid app, that is the angle that we're going for, a lot of people actually like to go back into looking into what the games are. If you look into Web2 gaming, why there are so many loyal users, people who stick to World of Warcraft, who stick to a publisher and developer and to their stories, that because in the normal Web2 old Steam and console game structure, players paid for the games before they play it. They are more willing to sit down and look into the games, to read the stories, or to read it before they purchase the stories, that the games themselves, to build relationships and trust and relations with the games and stories. And you don't see that a lot in mobile gaming. They're growing into that, but still with the choices you see on a day-to-day basis and the free-to-play elements. Look, open up your Google Play now, as the amount of games, free-to-play games you see is enormous. And every mobile game up there crams everything into the first 10 to 15 minutes to grab as much attention they can on you, and then throw you onto a treadmill to monetize you, to get you familiarized with their payment systems. And loyalty does not sound as great. You don't hear great fans of mobile games. They still are. They're great games. Genshin Impact is great, who develop loyalty, but there are so few of them. And so blockchain game is actually one that does that. And when gamers are willing to spend before purchasing. Gamers will be willing to explore the game more, and this is when we can really present more complex gaming mechanisms with more depth, not just complexity. And then we can also build more relationships with the dudes. The dudes are absolutely ridiculously silly and funny and cute and huggable, and they will attach to you. These are really cute creatures that don't always respond to you. That's why they're so funny. You'll just want to slap them sometime. And but this is the draw of God games to me, and I want to stick to this, because if I stick to action RPG, if I stick to card game, if I stick to real-time strategy simulation, they are giants out there who do great jobs in Web 2 and Steam and PlayStation. They have great games up there. The quality right now is insane, I tell you, out in the streets. But nobody is tackling God game, and we'll be the only God game out there. And it will be so hard to copy, because God games are so hard and so cost inefficient to develop. So we'll definitely be able to at least stand a quick test of time until someone copies our game. But we will be ready. We have raised a lot of funding. We've prepared a lot of time, and we'll launch it with a huge magnitude, hopefully with the help of the markets and with better reception towards Web3 gaming by then. That this is the unique product you just can't find anywhere else. You can't find in Web 2, not in Web 3, and you have to come here to play. And we'll try our best to be ready to onboard as many users as we can. Hopefully with platforms like Carv, who really streamlines the onboard process, and gaming guilds out there that's evolving to be much more user-friendly platforms, great game communities to get people to stick and play. This is how we try to piece everything together. But to answer the very beginning of the question, it's just back down to the original passion that I had to create something truly unique, and we want to stick with it, and we want to identify something that cannot be found anywhere else. Okay, that's a really long answer. Thank you, David. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, sure. And okay. I totally agree with you, because there ain't many God games out there. While I was quite young, so I haven't played what's it called, like the original 2002 game, the God game. So I couldn't get my hands around what is a God game. All I can think of is some like simulation games such as SimCity or like City Skyline. Like that is pretty God to me. Like you're playing a mayor, like you have total dominance to your citizens. So yeah, I really appreciate your answer, and learned a lot.
So just to add a few, if you play SimCity and Skyline, then yes, God games are born from city building games. The difference is, in city building games, you build the towers, the houses, the town halls, and the barracks. But in the God game, you build the trees, mountains, rivers, waterfalls, and volcanoes. And based on these, the Sims, the little citizens, will build based on what you provide them. It's a little more indirect, and it's like SimCity, but only playing volcanoes and disasters. So, but you can also help. So it's a different approach, but it's also a very unique approach, so to speak. And thank you for your question, David.
Nice. Great answer and great question. And I think the God game itself is a genre that we haven't been seeing a great projects ever since like the Black White, and but now there's a game that combines so many elements. I think is also eye catching, and also it's definitely gonna jump out easier for sure. My second question goes to the P010.eth. Hello. Yeah, you can ask.
Yeah, okay. Hello guys. My name is Pro, and good evening. Actually, I participated in both of your projects. I'm working as a guardian in Carv, and I also am a Genesis Planet holder of Apeiron. Like I'm the first bunch of person who ever meets April since like March of this March, right? Okay, so but I make a little bit mistake because I just purchased the second planet in July, I think. So I missed the snapshots that you guys made to like if you have two planets, like you get a chance to mint the actual one for free. So I want to ask you if I got another opportunity in the future to mint another one, or I have to purchase from a secondary market. Okay, thank you.
Okay. If you're referring to the mini black hole airdrop to help you breed another planet, so hello, hi Paul. Yep. So I think, Paul, you're referring to the mini black hole airdrop. So in July, before we opened up, I think that's around the time we opened up planet breeding. Our planets can breed. If you hold two planets, you can use the mini black hole to breed a new one. And in July,
you help me?
If you hold,
you guys help me?
What?
We can hear you, but we heard your question for sure. Yeah. Okay, Frank, you can go on.
Yeah. So if you missed the airdrop, then it's pretty much impossible to miss because we automatically airdrop to every holder who has two planets. So I think I would assume that you only held one planet back then. But of course, if you would like to mint a new planet, I think he disconnected. But anyway, I'll continue to answer. For those who want to breed, you actually need two planets and mini black holes. Mini black holes are available on the marketplace now, or you can participate in our community events to get points and emblems to exchange for mini black holes as well. With mini black holes, you can mint. You can breed, not mint. It's mint as well, but you can breed new planets. After the star sale next week, we'll do a rewards pool for our planet holder. After that, it will be a massive mini black hole pool, so everyone can participate there to try and stake and get some mini black holes. There will be a lot. It will be our wave to breed out a lot of planets to prepare for the demo and for the launch. So beware of those mini black hole pools, but you can always purchase them on OpenSea to breed new planets. And yeah, I hope Paul is still there. But,
great. Let's have another one, shall we, Frank?
Sure.
Okay. From Crypto Plankton. Hello. Connected. Yeah, he's speaking now. Hello, Crypto Plankton.
Scarface, nice.
Hello. I would like to ask a very simple question. I don't have too much time to play a game, and I just wonder if the gameplay or game modes will give us a chance to progress in the game, although we don't play whole day, but just a couple of hours, maybe sometimes 1 hour, sometimes less than 1 hour. But can I progress? Can I have a progress in the game, or should I invest more money to progress in the game for that opportunity? How is your solution for that? Thank you.
Hi. First off, I love Tony Montana, and I've seen Scarface countless times, and you absolutely sound half like him. And to answer that question, there are actually multiple ways. So first, if you own a planet, but you don't have too much time to play, I would absolutely suggest you rent it to a scholar to play for you. Or if you still want to insist to play it yourself, then you can just keep continuing to log in maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day, maybe twice, adding up to 5 to 10 minutes. And you can just water it, interact with the dudes, complete the most basic daily quests. You will still progress, you will still level up, and they will still build stuff for you. But ultimately, if you really don't have time to play that much, but you still want to take part in the Apeiron ecosystem, the stars is actually where you should be. The planets are really for the players who have time to play, because they'll generate other NFTs. They'll churn out relics. You can buy. You can go to battle to earn other types of NFTs and tokens. But these require game time and require teamwork. But if you really don't have time, much like me, I buy a lot of games, but I don't have time to play. But if you would like to take part, you can buy a star. A star in Apeiron does not require much control. You can just rent out the orbital tracks. There's multiple orbital tracks for each star, and the players will have to orbit around you in order to age faster, to grow in power faster. And in order to participate in the alliance events to generate the most tokens and to generate the third token, they have to orbit around the stars. And we have very, very limited amount of stars. We only have 11,000, but we are only minting around 400 right now. We'll make sure that these stars will all fully be rented out before we unlock the next batch. And these stars will generate so much passive annual rent. The annual return ranges from 108% to 1,243%, and this is talking about one of the lower end estimates. So it's pretty insane. And of course, it's not a guarantee, but we'll make a maximum effort to make sure everything is rented out and to hold the price steady. This is pretty much calculated based on our mint prices, so it shouldn't be that bad. And that would be the best way to participate in the ecosystem if you don't have time to play. And yeah, I hope this answers your question.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Crypto Plankton, and so I think that's about it for today's Emma, and great thanks for Frank to elaborate on all the things and also introduce our carvers about the great game that you've been working on and the philosophy behind it, and also you also draw much inspirations and also many things that I learned from your the conversation with you. Hopefully we can have more events together. Definitely gonna have some more collaborations and API integrations. All those things will hope we can discuss further, and the great AMA for sure, and almost 100,000 people participated, and all the
definitely.
yes, it's something that's a great way to end today's AMA is to let everyone to follow Apeiron on Twitter, to follow them on social media, and watch out their release, and hopefully everyone can play the game, enjoy the game, and definitely find a place in Apeiron for sure. And thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Charles.
Hope we can talk later.
Yep. Thank you, Charles.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carv. Thank you for having me. I'll definitely try to talk less next time and be more interactive.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
And,
we like to talk.
And I'll bring more rewards, and hopefully the next time we'll be talking about the games and the integration with Carv, and how and maybe do a mini tournament over here with everyone to play. So
yeah,
thank you.
Love
thank
to
you,
hear
Charles.
from you. Yeah, thank you. Have a good day, and thank you everyone for participating. And we're gonna have more events upcoming, so please stay tuned to our to follow us on Twitter and follow us on all the social media as well. So thank you, and have a great day for everyone, and have a great weekend. Yeah.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you.
Goodbye. Bye bye.